In this episode, the absolute worst drivers on the road, the original Mach 1, and two sides of the same coin. Welcome to episode 253 of the We Are Auto Show. What's up, Derek?
Mr. Michael Rao, what's new?
A lot, but one thing I saw today that was very heartwarming for me was I was out and about, and there was a little old lady in a Ford Focus ST.
Okay.
Which is a hot hatch, which was only available in a manual transmission.
Okay.
Old lady in a manual trans hot hatch. And she was having the time of her life.
Good for her.
I watched her send it into a traffic circle with no one around. Hell yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was impressed. I was like, you know what? There's no one around. You do you, old lady.
Wow.
So, what does that make you feel like when you see like an old lady just driving something fun?
You know,
in a fun manner.
This past week, I got to drive a Miata.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was a ton of fun. And the synopsis that I'd give you is a Miata is 10% better than the BRZ.
Really?
Yeah.
You would actually say the Miata is better than the BRZ?
It's only better because it has like modern amenities and just feels a little newer. And
so it was a newer Miata?
Yeah, it was a relatively brand new Miata, yes.
Oh, okay.
I was hanging out with my uncle, and he got rid of the old Corvettes, or the new Corvettes. And
he's picked up Miata.
With the profit he made, he could buy a Miata.
Oh, nice.
And he has a new manual Miata. So got to drive that. Sweet. But they are generally older, and they hoon that around town.
I love that.
Yeah. So there are a select few people out there that will take a manual car, hoon it around town, and just have a ball with it, even though they're older. It's okay.
Yeah. I love to see an older person, for some reason, especially an old lady. That, to me, just really does it.
That's cool.
You see, like, a little white-haired old lady, and they're just going full send.
That is super cool.
I love that to death. And I just hope that car enthusiasts never lose that spark.
I don't think that they will.
Like, I couldn't ever see myself or yourself being 85 years old and going, you know, honey, I think I'm going to get a beige Buick today.
No.
Like, could you ever bring yourself to do that?
No.
No matter how old you get, could you ever get the old man tan Buick or Lexus?
I think once you're a car enthusiast, no, you don't go down that rabbit hole. It's the people who are never into cars and never got to experience driving a manual, pushing a car to a limit, drifting, doing all that kind of stuff. They don't know what's on the other side of the fence. They've never gone over there.
You're right.
So they just don't know what they're missing out on.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
But that brings a good topic to mind, though, of driving. And it makes you wonder, who is the worst kind of driver?
The worst kind of driver.
The worst kind of driver.
I was with my wife when we were going out to dinner, and she was like, when I was going to the gym, I had a friend that was driving. She was an overly cautious driver.
What does that mean?
What do you mean? And she said, she'd just get behind the truck that's sitting in the right lane and go very, very slow. She'd get up to a yield where you're supposed to just merge into traffic.
If it's safe, go.
Yeah. Come to a stop and yield, like overly cautiously yield. Or when she was turning into a parking space, use the turn signal.
Well, of course.
When she was backing out of the parking space, use a turn signal.
Why?
I don't know.
So that part confuses me, because if you hear me out, if you turn your signal on, as soon as you turn your wheel the opposite direction, you're going to cancel it immediately.
I agree. That one confused me, but that's what I've been told. There are people that use their turn signal coming out of parking spaces. No. I also don't know which direction you would turn it.
I would say you would signal the direction initially that the rear of your car would go.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're essentially starting to travel. But then you would signal the other direction when you exit to leave. But that's just given. Your car can only go one direction at that point.
Can being an overly cautious driver be a bad thing?
I think it can. But, so, I don't know. I guess there is a difference between being cautious and being overly cautious. Because don't drive like an idiot, obviously, right? But if everybody is doing 45 miles an hour and you're doing 32,
right,
you're just being a moving chicane at that point.
You need to flow with traffic.
You're being a moving obstacle.
Yes.
That's not going to work.
Right.
If you are coming into a roundabout with a yield sign and there's no one around, you shouldn't be stopping.
Yeah.
I think it can be dangerous because I would actually, this may sound like a bold claim, but I would almost argue that an overly cautious driver is just as dangerous as an aggressive driver.
I think you're right.
Because you can, and maybe even a little more, so you can almost predict the move of the aggressive driver.
Oh, yeah.
Because if there is so much as 3 extra inches, they're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So you know exactly where they're going to slice and dice through traffic. But with an overly cautious driver, I feel like they're more unpredictable.
Yeah.
Because they're more scared of everything. Like a bird. Oh, Jesus Christ, a bird.
Yep.
Ha ha ha.
A great analogy for this is racing. When you are the slower car in motorsports, in multi-class motorsports, you're told to stick to your racing line. Mm-hmm. So when you're going into a corner, go from the outside all the way to the apex and then all the way track out. If you're overly cautious, you don't stick to your line, you're unpredictable. And it's very hard for the traffic around you to predict what you're going to be. And it can create crashes and create bad incidents.
I think that translates exactly the same to public roads as well. Because just like you said on track, if you're that slower car, you don't need to be going way offline to think, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to let you go.
No.
It's the same thing as, like, for example, if you're making a left into a neighborhood, but you don't have a stop sign, and you're holding up traffic because you see a car at the stop sign, and you're thinking, I'm going to be nice.
Right.
Let them go. But no, you're just going to cause an accident because then no one's going to know who's going when, where, and why, and how. Right?
Another one of those situations is the classic 4-way stop and everybody comes to it at the same time. And in theory, it's always supposed to be the right person goes, right?
Yeah, car first, right.
Car first, right. So the situation where 2 of you pull up and they're like, oh, you go, or then nobody gives any hand signals and then you both go at the same time and then nobody goes and then...
What I think is even better is when people get into the waving wars.
Ah, yes.
They both go, no, you after you. No, please, I insist. No, honestly, after you. No, please, really, I mean it. It should be you. You should go in front of me. Why are we all being so goddamn polite? If it's your turn, go.
Yeah. And generally, if I pull up at the stop sign and I am the right car, I will be the aggressive car. Yeah. And I will initiate it quickly.
I'd say other terminology, assertive.
Yes.
Because aggressive is just rolling the stop sign, blasting it at Mach 2.
Right. I'll start rolling first, knowing that I can fully jump on the brakes if I had to.
Exactly. It's that hair of a movement of going, it's mine, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I'm watching you, but it's mine, I'm taking it.
Right. And generally, if you initiate it first, and you're at least looking at them, and you can tell they're looking at you, you're fine.
That's the key.
Okay.
That's the key. Are they looking back at you?
Right.
Because if you start moving, and you can see their head is off in space somewhere, you better be covering that brake.
Right.
Because you know damn well they're about to go, and they have no idea that you exist.
Yes.
And I think some of the other worst drivers, I mean, you can classify them with young, because they don't have the experience to know what more can happen.
Okay. This is a very generalistic approach, but
It
sure.
is.
Yep.
And old, because they fall in the more overly cautious side.
Like elderly.
Yep.
Right.
And then just plain aggressive drivers. And then I'm going to add another one. Stupid.
Ooh.
Legitimately dumb.
What do you categorize as stupid? Not understanding
Yes.
how traffic works?
Not understanding any of it.
Okay.
Not understanding who goes first to a stop sign. Not understanding what a broken line means versus a solid line. Not understanding which way traffic goes in roundabouts. Not understanding if you're making a left, where are you supposed to be looking for traffic? Because there's a lot of people with driver's licenses that don't actually know that kind of stuff.
Oh, certainly.
Like a frightening number of them.
Oh.
Or like
Yeah.
a yellow line. Gee golly, what does that mean? The road is happy. Yay. So I would throw stupid into the categories as well.
What do you think is the most dangerous?
I believe statistics prove that young drivers are the most dangerous. I believe statistically that is what's proven. But I would say aggressive just because they're overly confident.
I think I would rather be around a bunch of aggressive drivers?
That's not the question you asked.
I know. I know.
Because if it came up to me, which would I rather be around? I'd rather be around the more aggressive drivers because you and I being on the road more, we can more accurately predict that.
Yeah.
But as a statistic as a whole, the more aggressive younger driver is typically more commonly in accidents.
That would make sense. I do think that the overly cautious driver is probably not in a lot of incidents.
That they report.
Okay. So they might be in a couple little tiny fender benders here and there, but yes.
I think they back into a lot of things.
They're the person that leaves the mark on your car in the parking lot.
Yes.
After the turn signal goes off, they just scrape down the side and keep on going.
Because a lot of them don't realize it.
You're probably right.
They're oblivious.
You're probably
They
right.
just think, that was just a speed bump.
Yep.
No, that was a Subaru BRZ. Thank you very much.
You might be right about that.
I think there's something to that. Because, for example, a long time ago, I was sitting at a stoplight, and I just happened to glance over to the parking lot that was, to my left at that point. And I looked over, and I was watching and pretty cautious man come into a parking spot, and he didn't really know where the outer boundary of his car was.
Oh, no.
But he wasn't fast. He was a slight little touch. But he was using his front bumper to explore the outer boundary of his car with the car next to him.
Yeah.
And then at the last second, he looked up, made eye contact with me while I was at the traffic light. I made eye contact with him, and we both kind of went, but then my light went green, so I had to go, and I think he just walked away.
I think that happens a lot.
Was that the curb? Oh, I don't know, Susan. You tell me.
Certainly wasn't the BRC next to you. Yeah. Yeah. So I think long story short, me and you would probably more take aggressive drivers around us, but young and not well educated is the most dangerous.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think most car enthusiasts would probably land in the same boat that we are.
Yeah.
But most, I hate saying this, regular people.
Right.
Most regulars.
Non-car enthusiasts.
Yeah, are probably would rather be around the overly cautious.
I think you're right about that.
I think if you're a car enthusiast, you've probably been more exposed to performance driving. Mm-hmm. So you're more likely to kind of anticipate, oh, okay, that car's going to go for that little gap because there's a gap there. And they're going to think they're Ayrton Senna, and they're going to say, if the gap is there and you're not there and you don't take it, what kind of race car driver are you?
Right.
And
it's fairly easy to read that. And it's almost easy to read when they're going to stuff it in the wall as well.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Yeah. And you can drive around that. You can see, oh, they're going to go for that gap. They're not going to make that gap. But when they get spun, they're going to go off this way. So I'm going to jump this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's how it played out. Great. Easy peasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that's all their problem. Onward we go.
And then goodbye.
Yep.
So let's move on.
Okay.
To the car spots, because I saw something a little exciting. Not usually my typical thing that I look for on the roads, but it was something that did just make me happy to see. I saw an old car. 1969 or 1970 Ford Mustang Mach 1.
Oh, you saw an old Mustang.
And it looked exactly like this. Same spec and everything.
Okay.
And it was pristine.
Some old muscle car.
Again, not usually my forte. But when you see one that's so perfectly kept, you just kind of have to smile.
Was it running?
Oh, beautifully.
Making some good noise?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Driving down the road, right next to it, head nod back and forth with the driver. I mean, you just look over and you kind of go, yeah. Yep. Thank you for keeping this alive. Thank you for making this sound exactly like what it sounds. This has just been absolutely fantastic.
Can I ask the driver, older gentleman?
No.
Oh.
Surprisingly, my age or maybe 40s.
Whoa, didn't see that coming.
Me neither. Because when I pulled up next to him, I looked over expecting to see a lot of white hair.
Yeah.
And it was like a kind of a dude looking kind of like me looking back at me. And I was like, hello.
Wow.
Didn't expect to see you here. Fancy meeting you here.
That's neat.
So maybe it was his dad or grandfather's car. I
maybe
would like to romanticize about that idea. Because
maybe he just actually wanted this car. Could be.
It's beautiful. A couple specs on the original Ford Mustang Mach 1. You were most commonly found with a 3-speed automatic.
Hello?
Three of them.
Three?
3 of them.
What?
3 of them.
Okay. Didn't see that coming.
How tall are those gears?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This used to be a drag racing car?
Pretty well.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Speaking of which, you did get a V8. You got a great big, was this 428 cubic inch V8, dibbling 335 horsepower, 440 pound-feet of torque, so lots of torque. Your 0 to 60 back in the day, 5.7 seconds.
You know?
That's actually properly quick.
That's fast.
That's properly quick.
It's fast.
It's because you don't have to spend time changing gears.
Yeah.
Because you're still in first gear by the time you reach there.
Real long first gear.
Quarter mile, standing quarter, 14.3 seconds. This is from 1969, mind you.
That's not bad.
Okay, today, everyone's going to laugh at that and like, oh, you can't do it in 10 seconds.
Right.
But this is 1969 or 70 we're talking about.
That's not bad.
We're 2023 right now.
That's performance.
That's actually a lot of performance back in the day.
That is good performance back then. Like, properly good performance.
Back then, that is cooking.
Yeah.
Like, that's screaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fantastic.
No, that's cool.
I was so surprised to see it so perfectly pristine next to me.
I hope that the engine and all the mechanical bits are in good shape, too, because
Sounded like it.
great.
Sounded like it. But yeah, that's my Spy Leak, an old Ford Mustang Mach 1.
So I got to see a pack of cars. Well, 2 specifically. So a duo, a tandem.
Pack or pair.
A pair, sure. However you want to say it. 2 cars.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you, we've talked about both these cars. We've seen both of these cars many times. But I'm going to ask you, which one would you rather?
Okay.
First one, being an R8. The newest generation R8, the V10, yada, yada.
I can probably tell you it's not going to be this one.
Okay. It was a black R8 with black rims. Looked relatively clean.
It's fine.
The next one was a silver or gray, I don't know the exact color name, Lamborghini Huracan Technica.
Would you like my answer?
I think I know your answer.
It's not the Audi. Well, I can't say that because they're both Audis.
Kind of.
No, they're definitely both Audis. They're the exact same car.
Under the hood, they're running the same engine.
The transmission's the same. Drivetrain's the whole thing's the same. Which badge would you like? Which body looks more appealing to you?
Yours is the Lambo.
Very much so, yes.
I don't know who would say the R8, to be honest.
I mean, again, the R8 is a very good car.
Yeah.
It is very good, and that is the adjective to describe it. Is it does it evoke a lot of emotions?
No.
No, but on paper, it is a very good car.
Does this evoke emotion to you?
More than the R8.
Significantly more.
I mean, yes.
We've seen enough of these that they're becoming bland to me. But to most people, this is
You put
the
that in
poster.
some town in Kansas, and that's going to turn the whole town upside down.
This is the poster. Like, this is the hottest of the hottest.
Yeah. And again, underneath, they're the same car.
Right.
They have the same V10. They have the same double clutch transmission. They have the same all-wheel drive with some extra suspension bits and different things. But generally speaking, they're pretty much the same car.
So these were 2 gentlemen that we've seen around here. I don't know them personally, but do you think that the gentleman that has the R8 just has that little bit of, like, envy?
You know, there's a chance.
You got to think deep down there's a little bit.
There has to be.
There has to be a little bit. Or do you think he's so worked up in his head that they're the same mechanical bits that, like, it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter.
That's a good question. Because mechanically, they're pretty much the same car.
Yeah, and I can see someone convincing themselves that I don't want to spend the Lamborghini money. I'm just going to get an R8, which is cheaper.
Or maybe their dream car has always been an R8.
Could be.
Maybe they saw, what was it, the iRobot movie, when Will Smith had that futuristic-looking Audi with the spherical wheels that resembled kind of like an R8.
Yeah.
And they went, damn, that's the car for me. And that is what the closest thing to it is.
You got to think there's a little bit of envy.
Yeah, you gotta.
You got to think.
You gotta think. Well, there's 4 rings on this badge, but there's a bowl on that one.
Yeah.
That
It's
one's-
Italian.
That's the one I want.
My dentist has this car, and they don't have the Lambo.
Again,
Yeah.
the R8 is a very good car. It is very good. But does it make you go, ooh?
It also just looks older than this. A lot older.
Even though they're very similar years.
Yeah.
It's so funny how that works.
Yeah.
So there's that, I guess.
Yep. That's an interesting car spot of those two. And they were actually like front to back rolling around town, which.
I think they're buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
sure. Yeah.
I've seen them both screaming around town together.
Right.
They sound great together.
Oh, they do.
A symphony of 2 V10s
Mhm.
screaming together. That's a good noise.
Saw them both pull away from the stop sign, had the window rolled down a little bit. It was like,
Are you a car guy if you don't do that?
no.
Or pardon me. Are you car guy if you see an exciting car and you don't crack your window a little bit to listen to it?
You got to do it.
I mean, every single time. Even when I'm in the car with students, if there's something and I go, I got to listen to this.
Got to hear it.
I just got to crack it a little bit.
Just it. All of them are unique. They all have their own sound. They all do it differently. It's great. It's great.
Agree.
So let's move on to the I wish they would have. Do you have one?
I do. It has to do with something that we've experienced recently. So one of our fleet cars is getting a little long in the tooth. It's time to potentially upgrade it. And we were looking at, trade-in values and all that. Now, this is a car with 150,000 miles, 150,000 miles on it. And it's had a little bit of a significant life.
It's just taught people how to drive around town. It just drives every day.
All day, every day. Now, looking at the car, it's got some dings and scuffs. And I would have said, that's like a $3,000 car, maybe. They want to give you over, it's like almost a $6,000 trade-in. And it got me thinking, what? I mean, where is the value in this car? Because then I went and I did a search on AutoTrader to see, what are similar cars being offered for on sale? People are trying to buy a 2017 Corolla with 100,000 miles on it for, $15,000.
Oh, yeah.
In what reality is that $15,000?
The COVID situation just hiked all car values up by 5 to 10 grand.
Well, then my car is worth 100.
100 grand.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's a limited edition Volkswagen.
In some way, all cars are limited edition something.
Not a white Corolla.
No, there are a limited number of them. Seemingly unlimited.
Limited to 22,378,462.
Yep. But if you put a little sticker here and there, bam, you're good.
Are you a Corvette owner now? It's the only red on tan made on a Tuesday in September in the rain with a full moon the night after it.
Delivered at the museum in Kentucky.
Jesus Christ.
Of course. Of course.
You sound like a Corvette owner right now.
I'll go get my khakis and my New Balances and we'll be good.
Will.
I agree with you.
But I just wish car values were in touch with reality because people don't make the money to afford to spend on those cars.
Have you seen the price? Well, we talk about it all the time. The prices of new cars are insane right now.
They are.
They're insane.
Kind of crazy. But the problem is the prices of used cars are the same as the prices of new cars.
Mm-hmm.
What's the point?
Post-COVID, it was a supply and demand thing. The supply side has gotten better, but the manufacturers are not producing the cars at the rate that they used to get into the situation that they were in where they had the oversupply. They're like, oh, we fixed the oversupply problem. Why would we do that again when we can just constrain the supply and up the demand and up the price of each unit? We have to make less, but we make the same amount of money making less.
I just wish car values were in touch with reality.
They're not.
You're right. They're not. And I know that's such a stupid gripe for I wish they would have, but I just wish they were. Because it's like a 5 to 10 year old Honda Civic is not worth $15,000 to $20,000. It's just not.
There's the Honda Toyota tax, which is like, it's a good car tax, but I agree with you. It should be like $7,000.
And actually, I'm going to expand on that. Are they still good cars? Because hear me out. Sure, the engine is still made by Honda, so that won't die. But everything else has gotten cheaper and more crappy. So like struts, shocks, radiator fans, belts and pulleys, things that they outsource. Those things seem to be failing at a much higher rate now.
I do agree with that.
So is a Honda or Toyota still like the most reliable thing in the world?
If it's like a 2003 and older, yeah, it's good. But I agree. As of the very modern cars, I think that we are evening out all the manufacturers.
I think a lot of them are mostly the same, with the exception of Dodge. A lot of those get sent back because they're just blown up.
Yes. Dodge is in a league of their own at the moment. I'm curious to see, as we go into this EV transition, will the consistency of the vehicles be as good or better? Because in theory, it should be better because there are less parts to go wrong.
But I think the parts that are there to go wrong are being more cheaply made, resulting in crappier parts.
Could be. It could also be just the manufacturers trying to eke out every penny on the vehicle, right? Because it's the business that they're in. They're trying to sell the thing that they're making for the most money they can.
Passed down to the consumer at that point.
Right. So I don't know. The other problem I have about this is, how do we get the prices back to reality?
Atomic bomb.
Okay, that's not an option. I don't know how you do.
I don't. I have no idea other than if the proverbial economic bubble bursts.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I gotta say, there's no way that everyone in the world is making enough money to pay $800 a month on car payments.
I agree with you. No.
So that something's gonna have to change.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, people are gonna stop paying $800 a month for a Corolla.
Right.
Like, it's gonna have to change at some point.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that can continue because the average Corolla buyer has always been either the little old lady or usually like the really young adult that needs either a first or their college car.
Yeah,
right?
But we're not in the weird banking situation that we were in where the whole bubble burst last time. So
that we know of.
Okay, well,
I speculate we're probably in similar investment types, just with different names on them.
Okay,
that's some rumors that I've heard. But I digress. Do you have an I wish they would have?
I do indeed. So I wish that cars had, in race cars, they have something called a quick release steering wheel.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
I do.
It's a button on the back of the wheel that you can pull, and you can basically pop the whole wheel off, and you can take the wheel out of the car or go wherever you want, or put it anywhere. Most of the time, they just like hang it up on the I don't know,
the mirror, because it looks cool.
Right up there. But I wish that normal cars, like the Toyotas, the Hondas, the Volkswagens, all had quick releases.
Do you though?
Yeah.
Why?
Because then it would be easier to get in and out of the car.
You have tilt and telescopic wheel though.
I do. But I also just want to be able to hang it on the mirror.
Okay. You're going for the clout. Got it.
Would you not? Hello. Also, if you did, in theory, it could help to take the wheel, put it in the bag, and like go on your day. And someone would, at least, if they wanted to come take your car, they'd have to bring a wheel with them, which sure they would. Like, people who are trying to steal cars would figure that out.
Yeah.
But it could be a theft deterrent.
Could be. Just like a manual transmission at this point.
The best theft deterrent.
Yes, it is.
When I got to drive the Miata, we went in to get some food to bring back home. And I was like, oh, you're going to, put the top down and everything? He's like, nah, it's a manual. Nobody's stealing it.
Love that. Yep.
It's true. It's true. Yep.
Well, I see where you're going with that, but really probably not going to happen.
It'll never happen. No,
Not gonna. So, you got anything else?
I do not.
It's going to wrap us up then for episode 253. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and drop a comment. Let us know, what would you rather, a Huracan or an R8? I'll be curious to know your thoughts. And if you're listening on audio only, send us those thoughts via social. Facebook is We Are Auto, Instagram is We Are Auto _, YouTube is We Are Auto, and our website is weareauto.io. So, thanks again. Catch you guys in the next one.
Peace.